Rhoda Young Live. Make the 2024 election voting ballot. Rhoda is running for Congress in some parts of Virginia. I don't really know her districts, but they're about, I think it's like 4.5 districts or cities, districts that she will be in charge of or covering. Um, I think is Bobby Scott, Rhoda, and I think one or two other people that are going to be possibly on the ballot. Uh, the criteria for Rhoda had to get, in order to get on the ballot, you have to get signatures. And there's some criteria as a signature that you have to meet. One of them is you're registered to vote. So you have to be like 18. Your regular registry, voting registry. The other one is you live in one of the 4.5 districts. I think that was it. Are you registered to vote? Do you live in the district? And will you sign my ballot? I'm just going off of like what I've heard her say for the past like 2-3 months. Rhoda, if you get on this ballot, you have a lot of work to do. Yes, you got 2,000 signatures. Are those signatures going to go out and vote for you? Bobby Scott has been in office for over 20 years. He definitely has a base. There is probably definitely time. It's probably definitely time for him to go. There aren't any term restrictions, term limits in America, really, except for like the president of America, which is interestingly, well, no, that makes sense. But, well, I mean, overall, it's very wild. That's the only position that has a term limit. Yes, you have like I said, yes, you have 2,000 votes, Rhoda. But are they going to vote for you? At this point, you guys, Rhoda is talking about how she had entered in about 1,500, 1,200, 1,500 signatures. And the people in Richmond who are in charge of this whole situation are saying that that 600 of the signatures that she turned in are not eligible, or are not, they are not qualified because they are not registered to vote. Maybe I should have looked this up, but here in Louisiana, I kind of thought, and I've heard since I've been able to vote pretty much, that sometimes you have to make sure you are registered to vote, because sometimes they will take your name off. I don't know if this is like a black people thing, because I was hearing it from the black people in media, and they were saying you have to make sure you're registered to vote, because I guess they will take it off if you haven't voted in a while. But I know here in Louisiana, it was saying, or it could be just be in general, if you move districts, if you move counties, towns, cities, You have to make sure you re-register to vote when you move. Otherwise, your vote doesn't count or you're not registered to vote in your area. That could be a thing. People move a lot, move cities a lot, um, move states a lot. I mean, people move. And at first, I'm honestly saying this like Rhoda should have really crossed her T's and dotted her I's when it came to this situation about getting the signatures. Because this is the most important part at this point. To get the two qualifications, are you in this district and are you able to are you registered to vote? Um at first I was hearing her say that a lot. Well, at first I was here. I don't. Maybe it's the excitement of running and possibly running. Maybe it was the excitement of trying to get the word out about what your next step is. But that should have every time she would ask some because it would be are you registered to vote? Or are you in this certain district? And then can you sign my ballot? And then it became what I was hearing the last couple of months, maybe last even couple of weeks heavily. Are you registered to vote? Can you sign my ballot? Or it would be, can you just sign my ballot because I'm trying to run for Congress? And side note, if they would say no, I don't want to sign your ballot, another black person trying to hold another black person down. Oh, this person, she gonna be in the welfare office in the morning. Wait until I'm into office. You ain't gonna get nothing. It would be that kind of clap back, which I think is so ridiculous and so inappropriate when you're trying to run for office. It's not another person, black person, holding another black person down. Maybe that person didn't know you, Rhoda. That doesn't make them bad. That doesn't warrant them to be backlashed by you, roasted by you, just because they don't want to sign your ballot. Not everybody wants to sign your ballot. Not everybody has to sign your ballot. And as we're seeing now, you weren't necessarily crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Yeah, you got probably 1,000 more signatures just to cover your base, just to be safe. But were you doing it correctly? Were you, when you had spread out the signature papers to these different establishments around the different cities, to Cooper's and um, Dion's, Seven Spices, all these other different establishments, were they making sure that that the people that were signing them, were they registered to vote? Were they in the certain city that they needed to be in for you to, uh, that you're going to be covering? That should have been a checklist. Everybody that signed that should have had been verbally asked or seen it verbally written about that checklist. Because other than that, you're signing it, you're giving in this 500, 200, 10, 5 signatures don't even matter. Yeah, you say you got 1,000 signatures, but are all of them on the checklist? Yeah, you have Terry Neckham helping you behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, by your side. But I feel like you should take accountability for your part. Because I can sit and watch Rhoda all day. Hilarious, witty, funny, insightful. And when I'm listening to her berate people sometimes, ask people sometimes about signing the ballot, it's a whole bigger spill sometimes about why you're running for Congress instead of are you in this district and are you registered to vote? Myself, I had to go make sure I'm registered to vote because of what I've been hearing the past 6 or 7 years about eight, eight, 7, 8 years about your name being taken off the registry. And you know what? I'm not gonna. You can't even fault these people about not knowing if they're registered to vote, Rhoda, because I only remember you voting somewhere once, and I believe that was the 2020-ish election, or a little bit after the 2020 election. That's the last time I remember you voting. I've never heard you go to about a local election voting. And you know what? I'm not gonna. I understand, but I'm just saying. I understand. You can't fault these people for not knowing if they're registered to vote when you haven't even showed us you vote. You show us your daily life pretty much all the time. At that point, I can't fault you for not registering to vote because or going to vote. But I'm just saying we haven't seen you vote, so you can't be 100% that certain people are voting and are registered to vote. I mean, I'm turning this on myself. It can be there've been a couple of local elections that I'm just like, oh, there's a local election. We have a new governor. We have a new mayor. Oh, I didn't know this. It could be. It's a lot to keep up with sometimes these days, and to remember to vote and the guilt about not voting in your local elections, which is really important. It's rough. But like I said, I just feel like Rhoda needs to take accountability. And Rhoda, if you get on this ballot as an independent, you have a lot of work to do. Because, like I said, yes, you got 2,000 signatures. Yes, they say about 600 of those, or the 1,500, 12 to 1,500 that you entered already in, um, aren't eligible to get you on the ballot. But you have a lot of work to do because are those 2,000 people or 1,500 people are going to vote for you? Is 1,500 people going to be enough to get you voted into office in the 4 big cities that you're going to be over? And the guy that you pointed out in the video today, he was over about 3 to 4 cities, which is a lot less than yours, signature wise, and running the district wise. And you know what kills me is when people are like, a couple of days ago, moaning. She was moaning and groaning about what's for me is for me, and God has to have a plan for me out of this. And it's just like, okay, so if you don't get on the ballot, what's the plan about beating up with God that you're going to give us now? Facebook has failed you. Other platforms you're not used to or don't want to go to monetize, and you're left with, why does God have me out here all the time doing this work and not getting rewarded? And I definitely believe that Rhoda should be um, profiting off of her work, compensated off of her work, um, but also this isn't just regular work. She's like Rhoda's dealing with people who are almost homeless or on Section 8 and can't really go anywhere. And it's like, hopefully she does get on the ballot. So somehow, because I've been exposed to a lot. You just watch Rhoda for like a good week, and you get exposed to how horrible the housing system and just in Virginia alone, just in Virginia alone, how people in Section 8 have to live with roaches and rats and bad structures, and housing structure, and horrible landlords, and paying high rent and not getting worth anything. It's fascinating. You can only imagine how it could be in your city, in your personal city. But yeah, Rhoda definitely deserves to get compensated. But I hope she has. I also feel like she has a lot of learning maybe to do in order to get into this Congress role, which is really important. I don't think certain things you can just jump in and learn on the job. I feel like for like this kind of stuff, political stuff, I feel like you maybe need a little bit more background, and hopefully Terry Neckham can help her on that part. Leave a comment below what you think. I want to know. This is the Dare Show podcast. My Instagram is my love my need tonight. If you want to talk, if you want to look at the Instagram, there's nothing really over there. But you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like, but leave a comment. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for listening.